Welcome to the 180 podcast with myself, Braith and Reni Matua, and the Unibet specialist, Aaron Macy, with his jumper on like it's really cold in here over the top. Very Eastern Suburbs look that one, actually.
Thanks, mate. I'm back living
It's like you're going to Tanuki, but anyway, we'll move on from that. How's your weekend, Ren? Just first,
Very good, mate. Very good. Just flew in from the Goldie, mate. So, yeah, I didn't want to come home. Blue skies up there.
Are you in camp with SBW? There's whispers
I'm not.
around.
I'm not in camp with him. I'm up there training, just,
Well, we mentioned him. Press conference yesterday. Very strong words against Paul
spicy,
Gallen.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Gow didn't turn up.
I mean, of course that's a setup, let's be honest.
You think?
Oh, mate.
No, selling tickets to his next barbecue.
$10 each. Is that true? Is it BYO when you go to a barbecue at Gallen? Is it?
Look, he likes his money, Gow.
Well, we know that.
Yeah.
That's next level, though.
Yeah.
Is that actually true?
No, he does a cover charge as well.
It's true.
So what? When he has a barbecue at home, everyone's
look. There's rumours.
Just say it's true.
I don't know. I don't know for a fact.
You're
I've
in the
never been
camp.
invited to it with Sonny. I didn't go into his camp.
Oh.
No.
We'll have to we'll have to speak to Sonny and see if it's true.
Yeah, good luck with that. But
And he was saying that he likes taking tablets. Was it
Vitamins.
Vitamins. What sort of vitamins are they?
I don't know.
What was he
Magnesium.
suggesting then? I couldn't understand.
I had no idea what he
Well,
was suggesting.
there's no drug testing in this boxing match.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
that was claimed. Look, he's 44. Like,
What,
he needs a little
it's
bit of
playing
a
on
jab.
6 again,
Just
is it?
jab up, mate.
So hang on, I just for everyone, there's no in the contract.
Yeah,
There's no drug testing.
it did come out of Sonny's mouth that there is no drug testing in the contract, and I don't know who did the contract.
I do. All right, let's move on from that. I don't want to talk about boxing any further. Okay, now we've got breaking news. As we speak right now, it's going to be all across all the news channels today, of course, and NRL 360. It'll be the major talking point. Lachlan Galvin has been given a release, I believe, effective immediately. Now, there's a few guidelines around that.
Yeah.
Rennie, you were reading it on the plane home on first class from the Gold Coast. Can you talk us through that?
No, I just heard that there is some. There'll be some clauses in it that they'll have to drop the lawsuit around the bullying.
Geez, he must have been getting bullied pretty bad if he's dropping the lawsuit already.
Yeah. Well, this is what the Tigers want. Hey, we'll let you negotiate, drop the lawsuit, and there will be a transfer fee involved. So there's a few moving parts before it's...
The transfer fee, so he's only on 350. So they got to pay that to...
I'm not too sure the exact
I would say they'd
details.
have to.
Well, you're in the whole amount, or just what?
Well, what are the Tigers going to get out of anything less than 300,000?
I'm surprised that they've made this decision now, though, because that was like he's here till the end of next year. Now that it's today.
You know what? They just want him out of there. They've had enough. Why wouldn't you? The disruption he's caused. We can say Isaac Moses, but I'm sick of using his manager as the scapegoat as well. Like he's not a child.
Yeah,
and he's got his parents as well that are that are behind this.
Yeah.
Between all of them, we can't just blame Isaac anymore.
No.
Like this was planned, and we said it months ago on this the 180 podcast and then N360. This was planned. It's the only thing I hate about this is that they've got their own way. At the end of the day, they caused tension. They got restless on purpose, and they even went that far to say that he was bullied by players at training and on social media to get him out so that he can get bigger money elsewhere and can go somewhere else,
What do you think's changed for the Tigers from their perspective?
Well,
he didn't have the...
Maybe they don't think he's as good as what he and his manager think he is. Yep. And maybe they think all this bullshit's not worth keeping him there, and maybe the club is bigger than one person, one player, which is always the case.
It was always the case. 2 losses in a row. He had a chance to ice the game.
Well, they probably thought, if we can put this behind us, he can come in and we can thrive with him in the team and not jeopardise missing a finals and not putting us in a premiership contention. Then we'll see this one out at least to the end of this year. But now they've come 64-0. They should have won on the weekend. He dropped it over the line, and they've thought, you know what? Let's get him out of here and let's move on.
Move forward.
We're bigger, we're better than that, and we're a stronger club, and we've made inroads this year. And let's just get this drama away from us and a fresh start, clean slate, let the young kid go and do whatever he wants to do, which he has been pretty outspoken about. So, but, you know, the interesting one, which leads us now to is where he goes, when he goes, what price he's going to go for, all that. Then this is going to be the chat now. I'm hearing that both the Sydney Morning Herald and the Daily Telegraph are reporting that June 30 is the deadline or the moment that he will move. I'm hearing they may not even play him before that. You know, and I'd probably do that, to be honest with you. If he's going to go to another club, get more money and benefit from it, why would you not bring in a Finu or whoever it may be at your club to build them up for the rest of the year and put work time, effort into them, more so than putting, you know, all your energy into a guy that's really just going to piss off on you.
Fuck, you must feel for the Tigers fans. Like, fine. Even I was rooting for the Tigers at the start of this year. They went on a little run. They're starting to look good.
I think the dust has settled now. They knew that he wasn't going to be there. So what's best for everyone
is to let him go.
I did hear that he might have copped a hard time on the weekend. Did he get sin binned?
He got booed when they, like at Campbelltown, when they put his, because I spoke to, I won't mention his name, but he was doing the sideline commentary.
Right.
I spoke to him yesterday on the phone, and he said, when his name come up for the, you know, when they named the players in the team list, he got booed, and that's his home. That's Campbelltown.
It's expected.
That's not an away game.
Yeah.
That's like, you know.
That's a lot to take for a 19-year-old kid, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot.
Yeah, like it's hard because like you want to have, you want to be empathetic for him, and you want to put yourself in his shoes, and you know we know firsthand around the pressures around playing first grade, and I certainly know at that age because I was similar at that age, right? Yep. And in the outside noise and the impact it can have on you as an individual, and you know mental health and all that, but it doesn't seem to be impacting him personally. And I don't know. I'm finding it hard to feel sorry for him in this situation. Yeah. I wish I could, but I just can't. Like, I really can't.
I understand your point. It's just best for everyone involved just to move on. So drop the lawsuit and find the new club.
Yeah. Where does he go?
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
I will have to give you a wrap here. Right.
I would like to listen. It's not done.
Yeah,
and I don't know if he's definitely going there or not. But I call this when no one else did, and I sound like a wanker, but it's true. But like, I mean, I said I think he's going to go to the Dogs, and I gave my reasons for it, and I still believe that he's going to the Dogs.
Yeah.
You know, I've spoken to people at Parramatta, and the deal certainly is not done there. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
The Dogs have been very quiet. I believe they've been working behind the scenes on this for a period of time. Even this agitation now and this decision could be behind that. Gus is his biggest fan, and I just see it happening.
Yeah.
And another thing that stands out to me, and this is more a personal thing, but I talk to the Dogs a lot, like their hierarchy, and I've got a great relationship with them. I love them. I think they're doing the best job, like Adam, the chairman, and a few other guys there. And whenever I say anything in the media that's wrong, they'll clear it up. They'll ring me and they'll go, Braith, listen, you know, no, that's not true, mate. This is the situation. And they give me clarity. So then when I go on 360 or here on the podcast, I can, you know, give it clarity on what is actually the real situation. When I made the noise around Galvin and I said I believe he's going there, I gave my reasons for it. The silence was deafening. I tried to ring Adam on the way here for the podcast because I was going to say, listen, mate, I know you're probably not going to give me the answer, but this is what I'm going to run with. He normally calls me straight back. No phone call. And this is the day of the announcement that he's allowed to talk to clubs and is released effective immediate. To me, all signs point to Lachlan Galvin at the Bulldogs. Now, okay, he could end up there or Parramatta, and we could have another club come into play. But the interesting one I want to talk to you guys about is if he leaves June 30 and he goes to the Bulldogs, which I'm assuming they're top of the list, do you take him this year?
Yep. You take him.
You take him.
He's not guaranteed a first grade spot, but you get him into the system.
And what do you do with him then?
Well, he'll be just putting pressure on the halves, and he'll be in the system. They've got him to the club. They're not allowing him to go out into the market and demand more money. And he said he wants to develop. You look what the Dogs are doing. You look what Gus is doing. You look what Ciro's doing. It's the perfect fit for him. I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with if he's the answer for the club. But if someone like Gus is saying how much he loves him, then he's going to get him into the club. And cheap, probably for the 300, whatever the transfer fee is.
I'm not saying I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't take him. I probably would. But we know what the Dogs are like.
Yeah.
We know the standards they have there, the expectations, the team they've got, the brotherhood. They risk bringing a player in that it will unsettle their group, not because of his personality or anything like that, but if he's going to have to take someone's spot. So they're going to have to drop a Bailey Haywood, a Reed Marnie, at some point. A Sexton, who knows what they do or how they do it. But one of those players who has worked their ass off and has formed this brotherhood to put the Bulldogs in a position to be coming first, and look and genuine premiership contenders. Do you want to upset the apple cart? Do you want to risk all of that to have him come into this squad?
I genuinely think maybe Gus or even Ciro's had a chat to senior players and said, this is what we're thinking. Mm-hmm. This kid is the future of this club. He'll bring you premierships down the track. There could have been a discussion with Critter, with Max King, with those senior guys, and they might have gave it the green light. There's only sort of one person who you'd think is under pressure, and that would be Toby, even though he's playing great.
But does he deserve to be under pressure?
No, he doesn't deserve it, but he's been under pressure all year. They haven't re-signed him.
Yeah, but he's got. So what I'm saying is he's got through that. He's delivering. Do you want your halfback having even more anxiety now over his future every time he steps on that field?
I want my halfback
because no one's taking Toby's spot at the moment.
Well, I want him to be exactly. There's no one there to pressure him into playing well. He's playing well.
He's under pressure.
He's under pressure.
So he's already under pressure for a new deal.
He's been under pressure because he hasn't had a new deal.
Yeah.
And if they don't re-sign him, that's pressure. So bringing in this kid, this kid's on your heels, it just creates healthy pressure.
I get that, but imagine you're Toby, right? And you're thinking, I don't have my future.
You're going to potentially win a grand final this year. That's and you're going to throw your game away. No, but for Toby, you're going to say, no, I'm going to prove to you that I'm the 7. I'm going to take you to win a competition. There's no guarantees for Lachlan Galvin right now. It's more about getting him into the system. I don't think it's like you're coming in to take a spot. I think he'd sit in reserve grade at first.
Okay.
I'll put it
for 300 grand, like it's not like you're signing him for 800, 900,000 and you'd have to put him in the team for that kind of money.
How long do you think reserve grade, Reni?
Well, it's up to the halves, I guess.
I'll give you another one.
What? Hey,
no. This is good. Yeah, this is good. I like it.
It's just it's a 360. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to push you a bit here. I want to see what you got. I love this shit.
That's good.
You're doing well.
No, I appreciate it.
So you're ready for 360.
No, I'm
fans
not doing it.
of this podcast, should Reni come on 360? No. I've been trying to get him on.
Get me on the heavy hitters.
He'll do less.
Get me on with Tugger.
Listen, hey, calm down. Don't fucking jump the gun, mate. I'm giving you a rap. You're not a heavy hitter yet. You're not Peter Valandis, mate.
No, what's the other one you do with Benny and Tugger?
Legends.
Oh, yeah.
You want to come on with Tugger or Ben Elias?
Call it the plebs.
All right, I'll give you a question. What happens? So they sign him. And then what you do have, and if it is for 300, what happens if Burton or Sexton does an ACL late?
Like now we're going to ACLs.
Oh, I know. He loves an ACL. No, but so my point is, if one of those two
Bailey Haywood,
look,
right?
You've got Bailey Haywood who's playing fantastic. He's been great.
But it strengthens their
Can I clear something up here? I've got no issue with him going there.
Yep.
I think he's a good buy, especially at the price you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And if I'm the Dogs, I'm taking him.
Yep.
Right? But I'm just saying it has the potential to unsettle a lot of people at the club and a lot of players. And when they are in the position they are in now, just sitting one out, one back, and they have got even better footy ahead of them, it's a risk. That's all I'm saying. It's a risk. And I'm a little surprised. I'd be a little surprised if the Bulldogs, because the Bulldogs are so big on. They're so big on this principles. They're big on values. Even the way that he's acted here, Galvin and his management, to get out of the West Tigers is not the Bulldogs' way. It's not how they go about things. It's not how many people go about things.
Yeah.
There's even the fact that Gus didn't even talk to Isaac Moses. There was a no Yeah, like it's a very it's so interesting. It's so interesting, and you know I think it's just because I've heard the news now, and I haven't been a big fan of how it's all played out, and I don't think it's good for the game. I hate the fact that the West Tigers players, their fans, their board, who over the years I've been critical of, have got to a position now where they're on the way up. They're making really good decisions. And they were doing such an amazing job, building a great culture, and then just one player who they put all of their faith into and were willing to pay as much as overs for him has just done this to them. It's a slap in the face. It really is. And the fans should be upset about it. You know, like it's disappointing, mate. It's so disappointing. And it just, I don't like it, you know. I don't like it. And I think that I'm probably there's a bit of emotion behind it.
It was handled terribly, awful, you know, but it's happened. You know, we all need to move on from it. It's like at least they've made the decision, Tigers, all right, we're willing to do this, this, and this. I'm sure.
I'll sleep fine tonight.
But it's like, and you look at I don't want to pivot here, but the DCE thing as well, like just announce where you're going, mate. No one really cares, but it's annoying that you haven't mentioned it, right? So I got to congratulate you on picking the Dogs because I was the last club I would have thought, and it hasn't been done yet, but
I think
it's looking.
You
like
know what?
That.
It's Gus at his best. If he does get him, it's Gus at his best. You know, going on Channel 9 saying, "Oh, you know, we're out." You know, we're not. You know,
I did watch a thing he did. He did on Sunday or Monday. Do they do the Channel 9 show on Monday? Anyway. He left the door open a little bit. I can't remember exactly what he said.
He always leaves the door open a little bit.
Leaves it ajar, doesn't he?
Because, but, you know.
He talked about the embryo of or something about developing young players and blah, blah, blah. And then he sort of said, you know, someone like Galvin, I thought, it could be done here.
The initial rumours I heard were that Gus really wanted him, but the board said no because they didn't like the situation and the way it had all been handled. That's what I heard.
That's their way. That's why he's a genius. He's taking pressure off Galvin a bit. But anyway.
And then he came out and said, nah. You know, acted like he was never interested.
Yeah.
You know.
Phenomenal.
He's you know what?
That's why he's the smartest mind in the game. He sees something that I don't.
I've got nothing against. I think it's genius from him if he pulls it off. But it's, you know, it's the art of deception from the great Gus Gould that he's just one of the best at, you know.
What is it? Sun Tzu.
He's a hard man to read, Gus.
Bit of Sun Tzu, Tommy Gunn? Art of War?
Sun Tzu.
Might galvanise them.
Dad jokes from
Reni. Yeah. Oh, then they're fisting each other. That doesn't sound right. Okay. You love it.
I wanted to say it for the last 3 minutes. It was that bad. Anyway, move on.
Can't get that 3 minutes. All right. What? Okay. Where do you think he lands then before we move on?
Oh, well, Dogs.
You're saying Dogs too now?
Yeah, it's looking like that.
The great
Especially
Mace.
at that price.
Well, it's like when we don't hear anything at the Roosters, the deal's usually being done, and when we don't, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
I can't see him going anywhere.
I think just before we wrap that bit, I think that Parramatta are still a genuine chance because they need a 6. You know, Dylan Brown's moving on. I just think that when Galvin came out and said he wanted to leave and said he wanted to go to a development, a successful club with good coaches and good leadership, and you know wasn't worried about the money because Parramatta will give him more, but they're coming near last.
Yeah,
the Dogs he won't get as much, but they're coming first, and that it all just fits into why he would go there if he does go there. So it's looking like the Bulldogs. Do you want to just quickly the DCE stuff?
Where did the Dolphins come from?
With DCE?
Yeah.
Well, they were always there, right? But
okay.
I heard last week that they'd pulled out because they just knew he wasn't going there. And then he's come out.
He said that yesterday.
And said that he had spoken to them.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I saw the Dolphins pop up online. I thought, what? Where did they come from?
Well, he hadn't spoken about any clubs until the first day of Origin camp.
Okay.
He hadn't mentioned even the Roosters. And he mentioned.
What a bizarre time to mention it.
Don't you think?
Oh, it's bizarre.
Why are you mentioning it when you go into camp, when you're about to play Origin? Why wouldn't.
I'd love to see the context of the question.
Yeah, true.
You know, while he's doing the interview, but yeah, it just seems like you're in Origin. It's all about
just announce
Queensland.
Like, I mean, again, you talk about the Tigers and Galvin. What about the Manly fans and players? Like,
are you getting nervous,
About?
DC going to the Dolphins? It's signed, sealed?
Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours.
Oh. You two on fire, eh? All right, let's talk about. Stop fisting each other. It's making me sick. Let's talk some Origin. We may as well because it's that time of the year. It's the best time of the year. We all love it. The fans love it. It's the pinnacle of our game. It's probably close to the pinnacle of Australian sport, I believe. This series, and both teams are great teams. Laurie Daly's done an awesome job with his selection. So has Billy Slater. The New South Wales team. There wasn't really any shocks to me. It was pretty much the team I thought it would be, except for one, which we'll get to. And for Queensland, they've picked a great team. Not many people have. Again, Queensland are going under the radar. I think I'll start with that because that's something no one's really talking about. Everyone's talking about New South Wales. Everyone's talking about Mitchell Moses and Nathan Cleary. Everyone's talking about Payne Haas and Liam Martin and Crichton and Yo. But look at Queensland, right? They've got Kalen Ponga at fullback, which no one's talking about because they're going shit at Newcastle. You got Munster and DCE in the halves, who are, DCE's playing really good, Munster's playing great, and they have been there, done it, won games on the biggest stage under the bright lights, who don't even blink an eyelid when they step on the Suncorp Stadium, right, or for Australia or Queensland. And they got Harry Grant at 9, and they've got Big Tino coming back, who didn't play last year's series in the front row. They've got Ruben Cotter and Nanai, who always, again, deliver at Origin regardless of their form at Clubland. And Carrigan at lock, who, Brisbane are struggling, but we know what he can do. So all this chat about New South Wales, great, love it, but here we go again. Queensland just under the radar.
Munster scares me the most. Money coming back into that side. He reminds me of, he goes off script.
Yeah.
He's the one-on-one steals, the footwork, the intercepts. He's like a Wally Lewis. Like he's.
You've always been a fan.
I've always been a fan.
Even before I'd managed him and all that stuff, you've always been a big fan.
It was this one moment. I think I went to Adelaide, or I can't remember, and they were in the battle. They had. I think there was a team when they were severely understrengthed. And Harry Grant threw a long ball, which was unnecessary. Queensland drop it. They invite New South Wales back into the game, and Munster absolutely sprayed Harry Grant, his teammate. And I thought, he gets it. It's not just footy IQ, it's Origin. He just gets it, and he's the one that frightens me the most in that time.
I'll give you some insight into Cam because I'm probably best to tell it. Honestly, I'm not. Again, it's because I know him better than most now, and I watch him probably closer than anyone else because he's my client, so I watch him every week. Last year playing, I felt sorry for him. I remember I went and watched him play the Roosters at Allianz, and I knew he had hip problems, but he wasn't telling anyone. And I'm watching him, and mate, he could hardly keep up with the play, which is just not him. And I remember ringing him after the game, and I said, mate, go and get your hips my advice would be, but he's tough, man. He's like, nah, can't let the team down. They want me to get it done at the end of the year. I'm like, but man, you get it done now. You're back for the finals. You're flying. But he just puts team first all the time. That's his mentality. Anyway, he got through all of that, and then he came back and played well. He rested it, didn't get the surgery, and he played a lot better at the back end. Got to a grand final, And then coming in this year, I remember watching him warm up before. I think it was Para when they smashed him round 1, and he's bouncing around. I'm thinking he's on, man, and he played great and all that sort of stuff. But if you watch him actually play at the moment, he's so competitive. He plays every play. He's everywhere on the field. His energy is incredible. He's as fit as he's ever been. He's lost weight. He's off the piss. He's bouncing around. On the weekend, his performance was, they lost. And if you just watched him, that try saver, but not that, he set up 3 tries and all that. He's buzzing, man. He's buzzing at the moment. He's got the fire in his belly. I know that. He missed last year's Origin series. I spent the weekend with him, and mate, I'm scared, because he
worries me.
He's got that. He's got the look in his eye. He wants to go up there and dominate. He thrives in the Origin arena. We've seen that. He's won the Wally Lewis medal, and when So he is he's
No
primed
occasion, yeah.
for this.
No
He's
occasion's too
primed.
big for him, mate.
It isn't, you know?
He thrives on this underdog tag. And you look at the stars we have in the New South Wales side.
But he even thrives off the fact that, there's talk about them re-signing Hughes, you know what I mean? Like on long-term deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that means I've got to step it up.
Yeah.
Like it's like he just everything's he wants to be the best.
Yeah.
And he's a larrikin, he's fun, he's one of us. He's one of the boys. That's what I love about him too.
Yeah.
Like he's one he's one of the lads,
He's also got that thing where he just gets to skip around the field and it's like he's got spiders on him.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 points in a state of origin game and he'll just run around like this and everyone's just like, what the fuck's he gonna do?
That's what it goes off script.
And goes off
he'll bounce
script.
across the ruck, he'll pick up runners on the other side.
And you're screaming at
the one-on-one steals.
I always say that the reason he's so dangerous is because he doesn't even know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm serious.
True.
So how are we supposed to know? How's the opposition supposed to know when he doesn't even know?
It's like a backyard footballer. Like, I'm just going for everything.
He dead set looks like a kid that's in the backyard by himself just kicking the ball around.
And even last night it was funny because Gordy said to me, would Cameron be distracted with all the DCE chat? He wouldn't give a fuck. And it was funny because on the weekend, he left his fucking Origin, like he's got his boots in his mouth guard, and he left them at my house. Like, and he gets to Queensland, he's like, oh, mate, my boots and my mouth guard are at the house. I might need them this week. So I've had to express post his boots and mouth guard. So he goes, I'll be just training his hand shoes the first couple of days. He's in Origin kit.
He's playing in the wrong era. He belongs in the 80s and 90s.
He wasn't stressing. He goes, oh, mate, can you just send them up? I said, yeah, I probably should, because it's your fucking boots and mouth guard. You might need them on Wednesday night. He doesn't give a shit. But he does, but he doesn't, Like, he's just like so chill. But,
I'm petrified. Laurie Daly, you've seen the press conference. Do you hate Queensland?
Well, we've spoken about this.
But I'll need to touch on it
Hate's a
again.
strong word, Aaron.
What's he going to hang on? Do you know what he reminds me of? Like an under-sevens coach. Like before he runs out, boys, I want you to hit him, but maybe not. Let's just go out there and have fun. Like, is that the speech?
I'm not worried, right? But, we already said, if it's okay to say you hate them. Like, it's actually okay. Like, we hate you. They hate us. You're the coach. It's okay, Loz. You don't need to overthink it, mate. Yeah. When they say, do you hate Queensland? I fucking hate them. I want to kill them.
For 6 weeks of the year. I fucking hate them.
What do you think Madge would have said? Like, that's what I thought of that, right? Madge would have went, yeah, fuck yeah. He would have. Like, because that's what he revved it up. Madge and Billy last year was a good little... And then what happened, because he didn't say he hated them, we asked Billy on 360 and Billy's like, he hates it. It's because then Billy didn't want to stoke the fire, because then, but mate, this is what Origin's about, like.
It wouldn't be authentic if Loz said he hated him, though. If he came out, you'd be like, shut up, Loz, you don't really hate him.
He doesn't hate anyone.
So damned if you do, damned if you don't.
He does hate him. I know he hates him. That's why it's...
Yes, of course he does.
And we all know, like, they hate us. Yeah. They fucking hate us.
Yeah.
They hate us.
Yeah.
Like they say it. Like they actually boast about Origin and how they're more passionate. They hate us more than we hate them. And this is the opportunity to go,
maybe put bellyache up for the presses.
Yeah, but Billy yeah.
Give it a bellyache.
I don't know.
Yes, Laurie.
It doesn't concern me because I know Loz hates him. I know he's got fire in his belly and he showed that with the way that he used to play. But I just I think, as I said on the podcast last time, the fans would love, like, we're working class, man. Like, our fan base is working class. They would have loved it if he stoked the fire.
Put
petrol on it. Yeah.
Go on, Loz.
We hate them all, but.
Toya.
Yes.
What are you thinking of Toya?
I like it. I really like it.
Real big surprise, wasn't it?
Big surprise, yeah. I like it, man.
They seem to do it a fair bit, Queensland, over the years. They'll just pick someone from nowhere.
Yeah. What's your take on it?
I think it's great. We know how good that kid's going to be. And I think what it's going to do for him at the Roosters as well over the next, let's say he stays in for the 3 games, the development, mate, that kid is a stud. He's a good, they're coming up against Latrell.
He did
do you think there's a chance they might put Holmes in the centres and put him out the wing? Do you reckon we can talk more about it next week?
Again, I spoke to Cameron about this because we were on air when the team got announced. Like, off air we spoke about it. He was a bit surprised by it, and he thought that could happen. But I don't think so because he's a genuine centre, Toya, and
Yep.
you know a lot of people don't know, but he's a child prodigy. Like he's been earmarked for this for a long time. You know, Billy sort of insinuated he'd spoke to Robbo about Toya because he said, you know, his coach said this, and this, and I think you know Billy watches more rugby league footage than anyone. He's got his own little room set up at home where he dissects every game, and he would be looking at every player's movements in defence, in attack, you know, their shoulders, their footwork, their ability to read certain plays that he thinks that New South Wales are going to throw at them. You know, Toya played Latrell in the centres and did a good job against him. I think that went a long way as well. So, you know, it's a big challenge, but Billy doesn't pick players who he doesn't think are up for it. And I love him. I think Toya's a gun, and this is his moment, really. You know, this is his moment. So I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with it. Definitely,
you'd be happy with it, wouldn't you?
I am. But like he bombed 2 tries on the weekend.
He came off his right foot.
Yeah, he came off right. Yeah. Like, and
I saw that too.
You saw that. I was watching. I was going. There was a 3-man overlap. I'm going.
Look.
But it's mate. One thing that Queensland jersey, scarily, it is magic. They put it on, and it just takes them to another stratosphere.
Yeah. And to be fair to him, that try over the line was
just something.
That never happens.
Never.
You know?
Ever.
And then Galvin did the same thing a few days later, but. Yeah, but I know the one you're talking about where he just had to draw them in.
He had to pass the Seawell.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Dogs won.
Fuck off.
All right, let's get New South Wales. We'll just talk about the key ones, all right?
Yep.
Let's go the halves. Well, I think we'll talk about the halves and the bench probably, right?
Let's talk about the halves.
Okay. Fire away.
No, I want to ask you about, because you were a dominant 6, Braith, right? You always demanded the ball, especially outside shift. How does Mitch Moses inject himself into the game without overplaying his hand and letting Cleary steer the ship for too long?
Origin's all about, for a 5'8", it's about running. It's a run. That's why they always pick the likes of me, Timmins, even they got to start. They even put Gaznia there, Greg Bird, bigger bodies.
Yeah.
And Mitch Moses is a lot bigger than what people think in real life. Like he's 6'2" and you know, he's filled out a lot, right?
Our height,
almost as big as you, but but no, in all honesty, he's got a great running game.
Yeah.
What I think will happen, I think it'll be very similar style of which Joey used to play. So Cleary will be the Joey. He'll be on the ball, everywhere on the ball. I think they'll split sides. I think they'll shift. He'll play as a second receiver. He might link with Joey at times, but you know, I think it's just got to be Cleary's team. Cleary just working with the ruck and he'll get clean ball from Robson. For his role, you got to keep it simple. Less is more for Moses. So Moses, I'm thinking first 10 to 15 minutes, run, kick long, chase. Like that. It sounds like, you know, under 15s, but like it's that simple in Origin. You can't make errors.
Yeah.
You make errors in Origin, you're in big shit. Like so get the ball, run. And normally when you're someone like Mitch on an edge, who's a big body, who's fast with footwork, if he runs, he's going to get a quick play of the ball, right? Yeah. And then you've got the 9, then you've got Cleary, and then you've got your backs coming into play, right? So I think it'd be very simplified for Mitch early. And what I love about a 5'8" that runs early is that he's going to be drawing 2 or 3 defenders. If he doesn't get a quick play of the ball, they're thinking he's not going to pass. The second they don't think he's going to pass, because he's such a great player and he's got such great vision and he's got the ability to create at any moment, he will just naturally throw that pass when it's on.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the big thing. What Mitch can't do is go out there playing like a 7.
Yeah.
He can't. Yeah. You know, he's got to know his role. And Laurie Daly's the best bloke for it because that's how Laurie played.
Yeah, he did.
You know, whether it was centre or 5'8", he was a runner, mate. He wasn't a kicker. He never kicked. No. And most of the time, even he hardly passed. He wasn't a natural passer, Laurie. No. So it's good to have him in there. But just to have that firepower and to have 2 of – and they're probably the 2 best kickers in the competition, if not their top 3 or 4, both. Yeah. So at any time – and the most important thing – and I said it on our post yesterday for the BTFU and Unibet, his kicking game is massive because possession is everything.
Yeah.
Possession and field position. If your forwards aren't making the meters, which they don't, in the first 10 or 15 minutes, you're kicking from your 20 and your 30, and we've seen it with halves in the past for New South Wales. We can't find the grass and we can't kick it far enough. We've got two blokes who find grass regularly and kick it further than anyone else. That's where Queensland have had the edge over us. DCE is one of the best. He'll kick on tackle 3 or 4, and he'll find grass. He makes our back three work. We probably haven't done that enough over the years. Last year was great, but like that's because of Mitchell.
Correct.
So that's a little insight into what wins Origin games that we don't look at as much as the punter probably doesn't know as much.
Yeah.
But because I've been in games like I remember me and Piercy where our forwards are going nowhere, man, in Suncorp Stadium, and we're kicking from our 20, and we're trying to find space when you've got like the likes of Folau and Slater and GI and that, man. You're trying to find grass, but also trying to kick it a long way. And they're bringing the ball back, and we're getting suffocated, and they're like, "Oh, use a shit." No, our forwards were shit. Yeah, and then, but the forwards never get responsibility, they never really get it's always the halves that get cut, right? Yeah. But a lot of it comes. That's why New South Wales are good because they got back three that are workers. Meter eaters, and then that starts the sets for our forwards, and then you've got now halves that are really good kickers, which helps, So, that's kind of how I see it.
And you look at Surster and Cronk; they're the two best sevens in the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point.
They were,
and they played perfectly together.
Slater and Smith. Oh,
he's got some strike.
That was
their
spine,
too.
right?
That was spine.
Yeah.
He's got some great left edge strike as well with Angus and Latrell.
But we interviewed Nathan last night. Very excited, like you can see the sparkle in his eye. And apparently they've been inseparable, the two of them already, the first 2 days of camp.
They're fist pumping.
They're like you two today, just like spooning each other, fisting each other. It's beautiful. Anyway, where were we?
Maximus King.
Let's go to the bench.
Okay, bench. Fire away, Ren.
Maximus, I loved your take about starting him. I don't see the impact factor of him coming off the bench. I would start him for sure. Get out there.
Why?
I don't think I want to see. You're not going to get another Spencer Leniu, but I want something similar. I want someone keeping the tempo when they replace our starting forwards. I don't want it to just simmer and just stay steady. You want it to go to another level when your bench players come in.
So which one would you not start?
I'd bring Barnett
off
the bench.
That's what I do. The reason I'm asking is because people don't understand, right, like why we would go this way. Even yesterday when I did that post, I had some Pelican who was a Bulldog supporter having a crack at me. Why are you discrediting Max in his selection?
No. We're not discrediting.
Like Max is like his story is an amazing one, and if anyone deserves an Origin jersey, and I said it, it's him.
Yeah.
But you got to pick players for certain reasons in Origin. Yeah. You're not just picking off stats. This is where people get it's like Terrell May. Because I think everyone does super coach and all that now. They don't get that you don't just pick players on stats.
Yeah.
That numbers are great, and especially at Clubland. But for Origin, you pick every player for a certain role.
For a role.
They need to have impact in any position that they're in.
Yeah.
Max would have more impact starting the game like a Jake Trebojevic. He's reliable. He's got great character and 1%ers, those little work. Yeah. He doesn't miss tackles, and he's a meter eater. Perfect. First 20 minutes when you don't want mistakes, and you want to get out of your own end, like I just spoke about, what's important for New South Wales, that's perfect. But then when the game opens up, there's quicker play the balls, there's more tired defenders, that's when you want a bit of footwork. That's when you want an offload. Leg speed.
Quick play of the balls. Look, and you can argue that Mitch Barnett doesn't bring it as much.
Brings more.
But he brings more.
Yeah.
Yeah. He brings aggression. He does bring more. And he's played back row.
Yep.
Okay. So
this may upset people, right? But I go to the extent where if I'm not starting Max, I wouldn't have him on the bench, right? I wouldn't, and that's where people would get upset. But it's like no, because if you're starting him, that's perfect, and that's the role that he's a specialist at.
Yeah.
If I'm picking a player off the bench, I'm going Kaloa Matangi, or I'm going Terrell May.
Yeah.
Because Terrell May would come on, and he's a big body. he hasn't come into a game for the Tigers when he's got tired defenders in front of him. He's been starting and playing long minutes. Imagine bringing him on after 25 minutes or 20 minutes and he's like running and he's got the offload and he's got the footwork and he's mobile. You know, he brings more impact off the bench than Max. You know, Kalamatangi the same. Similar. So, you know, that's why I think they're going to start Max King. I think they'll start him. I'd put Barnett back to the bench. You know, and Barnett comes on with aggression, bit more footwork. He does have an offload. And that's what I would do. And that's the reason for it. And that's not, you know, I'm
with you 100%. And congratulations to Max, mate.
Congratulations, mate.
Unreal. Given, like, I've heard what he's been through as well to get to that point, to be able to play first grade. Did he have a foot disease or something like that? And then, it's fantastic. So,
but the thing is, you actually said you're promoting him to the starting team. Not why is he there? So it goes to show that
selective hearing, it's called. People don't listen, man. They just see it. Like, and fans are so emotional. It's like, come on, bro. Like, you know, we want him in that team more than anyone. We're ex-doggies, mate. We love how they're going. We want 10 Bulldogs players in the side. We also want to win Origin. You know what I mean? And we also know our footy. We're not dingbats or else we wouldn't be here. You know? So,
and as you said, like, if you see him when he comes on in that 25 minutes, he's on the sideline, you're going, oh, fuck, here comes Max King.
Let's be honest, right? When Spencer comes on, everyone's out of their seat.
Exactly.
You know?
That's a difference.
And even if Terrell may come on, I reckon it's a bit more like, okay, this could spice up.
Style of player.
He's got some shit in him too, you know? Like, and that's what Origin, you know? Like, but yeah, anyway, that's kind of where we're at with that now. Newcastle. Origin, we happy with the chat about Origin? We got any more on that?
Yeah, we'll break it down a bit more.
We'll do a proper breakdown next week.
Yeah. Well, that'll be, are we going to do it earlier next week?
Tuesday.
There you go. For everyone, we're going to do next Tuesday. So the podcast is up for Origin Day, right?
Yeah.
We'll have it up for Origin Day.
It'll be out Tuesday night. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah. Tommy Gunn
One day you might
basically.
see Tom from behind the camera.
Newcastle. Wow.
Newcastle Knights, Ren, you take us away on this one, mate. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, just basically what I said last week about what I picked up the week before, that they're not really giving enough deception off around the ruck to give their edges enough opportunity. That's the way I saw it. They didn't turn up against Para. They were horrendous. And not only that, their execution is poor. I know there's Jackson Hastings. We know the noise behind Jackson Hastings and potentially they don't want him in the side. I was just thinking on the way here, could you put Fletcher Sharp to fullback, throw Gallen into 7 so he's on ball? He's got a kicking game.
It hasn't worked at 6 though.
But I think you could. He's defending at 3. Yeah, I just thought
no, you could, but like you said, as they've tried it before with him in the halves, and then they didn't work. But desperate times, desperate measures, eh, Ren?
But I mean, they've got an okay pack. So Fede Leah Thompson's back this week.
So if they've got an okay pack, then why are they playing shit?
Yeah,
you know.
Surely the coach has got to be.
Did you watch the presser last week?
No.
He could hardly talk. He was just out of answers. He didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to help Newcastle. The coach has got to be, you know, I met with Adam O'Brien in the off-season and everything he told me, I thought, they're doing some really good things here and I was excited about their year. I spoke to Gallen at the start of the year and I was excited for him and where they could get to this year. And, man, I'd hate to be in that inner sanctum now. The vibe would just be like a funeral, you know, it would be. And Gallen's just, you can tell he's not happy. He's not enjoying his. I've been saying this for how many?
3-4 weeks. Yeah,
I think Adam O'Brien. You know the whole thing around him is the $2 million payout. I don't think many other coaches, the way they're going, the position they're in, would have survived as long as him. To be honest, there right now, I think a lot of it has to do with the money that he's kind of owed with a payout there, and you got to question why they re-signed him. They weren't exactly flying when they re-signed him.
That was crazy.
That was pretty crazy.
Well, they had a poor start, and then they sort of, towards the back end, they scrape into the 8.
But you know what? West Leagues, who own the Knights, probably earn $2 million a day off their pokey. So, I mean, at the end of the day, let's be honest. Like,
more chili.
Just sell one of the pokies and say.
Just wait till the end of the week, Adam.
More chili.
Just wait till
yeah, mate. Just hang on. Just take the pokey and maybe give it to him and say, thanks for your time. Thanks for your services.
Take the Cleopatra.
Just take all the cash out of that and away you go.
Huh? Does Kalen stick around?
Or maybe, you know what you do? Just set it up so he wins the link. You know, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go on, Adam, come
Hey,
here, man. Just
that
go
one.
sit on that pokey there. There's a $2 million link.
We spoke to
And he
aristocrat.
wins it. He just
You're gonna
wins it,
win
and
that.
they just take him out and put him
Remember
on a
the
bus. And he's out of
the
there.
mechanical horses?
Yeah, the Bulldogs,
The Bulldogs.
the Leagues Club. We're betting on horses that are computerized. What losers? Anyway, yeah. So Adam's going to win the link next week at Newcastle. I'll have a
He's off
Newcastle
now.
week after.
See him on the courtesy bus just out of there.
He's got his big check like Happy Gilmore out the front.
So who would
Sponsored by
you
Subway.
sign? What
Huh?
coach? Who replaces?
Well, I know Blake Green is really, he's like the understudy there. But then do you put an understudy into the head role after you kind of head coach? And there's big raps on Blake.
Well, who's doing their attack? It must be Blake.
Yeah, probably.
Their attack.
Willie Peters is flying over there, and I've mentioned him. He's flying over. He's got the Challenge Cup final. He's coming first by, I think, 4 or 6 points over there. He won Coach of the Year last year. He's got the Man of Steel, Mikey, who he's taken under his wing, Mikey Lewis, the last couple of years. He can't do any more. Willie can't do any more.
Would
than
he go
what
to
he's doing.
Newcastle?
Well, he was
He's
assistant
been there before,
He was
hasn't he?
assistant there. I'd have to talk to him, but I'm assuming he would. He's itching for a
We'll
first
just tell
grade.
him Adam's got the link.
Wait, when the link goes
How
off.
soon can you get over here? Hang on, Adam.
What's
we're
the
going to have
song
to.
they play when the link goes off? Oh, money, money, money. Must be funny, is it?
I don't
In
know.
a rich man's world.
I've never
Is that
won
how
a
it
link.
goes?
You're
How
the
many
rich
links
one.
you won?
Yeah, funny one, that one.
Oh, God.
Can you
they're
guys
in-
talk or you want me
Nah,
to-
they're
No, where we
they're in
going?
serious trouble tonight.
Yeah.
They're in very serious trouble.
Let's get to the preview because we can't help them for now.
Nah. Well, let's there's been a bit of we'll talk a bit of movement in futures markets. Just
How's
Melbourne
me?
Storm are out to $3.
Look at me, Ruffy. Keep going.
Mate,
Sorry.
But
Is this
our
yours?
roughies now.
Yeah.
They've doubled in price since your
I can't
Twitter.
believe Buzz is
Can't
going to put egg in
Bulldogs?
my face.
Bulldogs are in the $4 now.
Yeah, they should be.
Cronulla Sharks are at $7.50.
The
Penrith are
Sharkies are
still
the
at
dark
14.
horse now.
They're dark horses.
I'll ask a question though on the Dogs, and I was out of the game, and can I just say their fan base, their crowd, like
Yeah.
I got goosebumps when
It's
they
mad.
ran out.
They're the best.
It's incredible. But I want to say one thing: that Roosters scene, either they're flying, or because poor Marky Mark dropped 3 balls where they scored, and Rob Toyer bombed 2 tries. So there's 5 tries that have gone amiss.
I reckon that try he scored eliminates maybe 2 or 3 of the drops, but not 4.
Yeah. Not
He
four.
dropped a few.
That
didn't he?
try, fuck.
But like,
Boys.
but that's a game.
Was that the best try I've ever seen?
Yeah,
He'd be up there.
it's
yeah.
there. Like
Yeah.
as a single person, yes. To,
Are you
to
single?
know the no, as a single man, like, you're an idiot. Don't go there.
No, I'm not. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
How is your love life? Yeah.
Oh,
I apologise. for that.
there you go.
It just-
Been
it's just-
rescinded.
It was just that opened up.
So just
You look rattled now, actually. You're
no,
right.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, don't make me
through-
return serve.
Go through your single hop again.
Come on, Joel
Off the
Kane.
hop, it was good.
Yeah.
My
Don't
question
turn this
is,
into a Roosters preview.
no, it's not a Roosters brief. No, I'm more questioning the
Okay.
Dogs. Like they obviously. And
I'm
you nailed
convinced
it.
now. I've
They're
seen enough
convinced?
evidence they
Yeah,
can win.
they
They're
get it
very,
done.
mate, I'm totally convinced.
Yeah,
like
completely.
the Roosters are going really good. That was,
Yeah,
you know,
played-
they played really. Like, to be fair, I thought this would be controversial. I thought they're a better team.
Yeah.
If Marky Mark didn't drop 16 balls, I reckon they
Or Rob
win
Toyer
the
bombed
game.
2 tries.
Rob Toyer, if Rob Toyer scores that try, I reckon they win.
They win.
That one where he dropped it,
Yeah.
putting it down. But the Dogs, and we said it in the preview, we nailed it. You nailed it. We got it right. We said the Roosters will turn up and put points on them, but the Dogs just won't go away.
And
And
they just
we
find a way to
we
win.
had the same feeling when we were flying there over those few years.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. If we were behind, there was no panic. We were in control. We knew we had a chance of beating them. Because when you're confident and the beliefs up here, you
Yeah.
get it done.
And Penrith was like that as well. Like
Penrith
they
were like that
they
for
just kept
years.
just winning in that
There was
last
a-
10
The
minutes.
there
Dogs
was-
are in that
Yeah.
zone, man. It's dangerous.
Yep.
It's great.
It's very good. All right, we kick off.
Where's Broncos now on the market? Sorry.
Second last.
$78.
No. What are they paying?
Wait a second. They're at the $15. Do you want to double down?
Ruffy.
You found it, Ruffy. You tipped them at $8 and now 15.
I told you, Ruffy.
How bad were they?
They
They should have won by 20.
How do you let 2 tries in when you're down to 12? When they're down to 12 men,
It's because of the army camps.
it's the boat. They're still seasick.
I tell you what happened there. You're 6 points ahead. You've got a better attacking arsenal than the opposition. They went for 2 points. But they got 13 on 12. We'll take the 2 thanks to get to an 8-point lead. Normally, 8-point lead when you got man on man and you're playing against a top quality team who can go toe to toe with you up. You're taking the 8 points every day. You've got 13 players up against 12. Ezra Mann, Adam Reynolds, Cobbo, the list goes on.
You know
and
what
you take
happened?
the 2 points.
It's like they had 12
Do
men.
you know what happened? Kevy Walters has gone straight through the mic and goes, take the turn. He's still there. He's calling.
He's still coming through the radio, The radio's.
Who was I with when we were
He's got a
watching that?
CB.
And we're working.
Yeah, you're
We're
working.
working on the Sunday ticket, and Cameron said, "Are they taking the 2?" And I'm like, yeah, because and we were like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then 2 tries, like easy tries with 2 men with an extra man.
It was almost as bad
That little
as
try.
Remember when
Little.
GI went to go for the field goal?
Oh.
And they're down by 2.
But that to me was it's a mentality thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a defensive mentality. It's a mentality of a team that are lacking confidence and boy, and then they fire up when the game's pretty much over and score a couple of easy tries.
Yep.
Man, they are. But you can't. I couldn't question their effort on the weekend, and I couldn't. You know, it's not that they aren't fit either. They're just in a hole, like confidence wise. It's so dumb with it. It's so dumb in attack, errors, and again trying to score off play 2 and 3 when they not building pressure. It's the same thing, you know.
All right, let's kick off game 1. We start with the Dogs at home, $1.36 against the Dolphins, $3.05.
So who are we missing? Who's in Origin?
Hamaso's out.
Hammer.
Tom Gilbert, I think, has gone
Tom
for the
Gilbert, that's
season,
a
or at
huge
least
loss.
That's poor guy's copped a lot.
Adam Dewey's in Origin. Who else?
What's Adam
Oh no, he
doing?
doesn't play for any of them. Sorry.
You
I
guys
thought,
yeah, Carraz, man.
Oh, Carraz
King,
is gone too. They've got
Stephen
some injury,
Crichton
the Dogs.
and Fafita. all out.
Look, I thought the Dolphins weren't too bad. They weren't lucky. They definitely had some calls go against them last week.
Can we talk about that call?
We can talk about that call because I couldn't listen. I wasn't listening to the TV. I was having lunch. I was watching, and I'm like, "That's forward." He's knocked that on,
It was offside.
and then he was offside. Remember, I was putting it in the group, going,
I was on
"Hang
the-
on, what are they saying on the call here? He's
Wait.
offside, right?"
I was packing as moving studios, and I've had Luke on the phone while you guys are texting. He goes, "Oh, that's off," and he goes, "Wait, what?
What's going on?
You guys
Well,
all
that's some
gone
tough
with
calls, you know. Like
It was 4-0. 4-0. And they would have had a set of
10.
6 on their line
Yeah.
to go 4 or 6 to 4. And then Metcalf scores down the other end of the field the next set.
rough
Like
call.
that is just so bad. It was so bad.
Rough
Anyway,
call.
carry on.
Dolphins, look, they did play good in patches. They're still a little bit off with their execution. I love them, and the Warriors are the two best at deception with their attack in running block plays and hiding the ball.
How good's the kid?
But Metcalf, mate, that kid is a freak too. But when you're coming up against a dog side that's still missing players that play the 80 minutes,
Systematic.
that systematic style of play, I just don't see them getting
They've still got guns in key positions.
It's like Penrith now. They're the next man up. The next man up.
If there's any upset that'll happen, it's this one, I think, this weekend. Like, I think it can happen again. I think because, although no hammer.
No hammer.
Because he's kind of the class.
But
of
you've
the
still got
spinner.
Herbie.
You got Herbie, and you've got their
quick.
halves.
Herbie up against
Can you
Taff.
bring that team list back up again? Sorry.
Herbie Farmworth up against Taff.
No, I'm going the Dogs. I think the Dogs will be too strong.
I think that the Dogs will win, but I like the Roosters in a way. I think that I think the Dolphins can really, really surprise. Like when they're on, and with a few players out for the Dogs this week and a little bit more vulnerable than usual. Again, I think it'll be a lot closer than people think.
What's Dolphins paying?
Dolphins are $3.05. You got 7.5 start. Do you remember how the start works?
Because too,
He's back.
and I think too, and I said this with the Dragons last week against the Broncos. You know, at some point at this time of the year, there are coaches and teams that are circling the game, going, we need to win this game. This is almost our season. Like that's kind of where we're getting to now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Dolphins would be going, boys, like they'd be going almost into camp and almost like having, and we've all been there. This is our week. We need to win this week. This is almost a season-defining game for us. Like if we could pull off an upset against the Dogs, we get, Hammer to come back after Origin. We know what we can do when we're playing well and when we can attack well. And, so I see him really just like earmarking this.
Yeah.
And I see a close game, but Dogs to win in a close one.
Yeah, Dogs in a close one.
All right. We go to Combank, Parramatta Eels, 275 against the Sea Eagles, bouncing back with a win, $1.44.
So many hard games.
I loved what I saw from Para last week again. And they're shifting and transition. They're moving the ball to their edges. They're not scared to chance their arm, and then they're defending. And given Newcastle was a very poor sort of side, I really do like what I'm seeing from Parramatta.
No Lomax, no Moses.
No, Max. That's the only thing turning me off these.
And then no DCE, obviously.
But no, see, Manly, they got their execution right last week. Their shift plays were great because they were out in front, on the mark, scoring corners.
Yeah. But how much of that comes out of the two men that are missing out of both teams, DCE and Moses?
They still got Tommy, but Tommy looked like, again, I'm sure he just doesn't look 100%.
So who are we backing, Luke Brooks or Dylan Brett?
This is another tough one. I'm going to have to go with Manly. If I look at Olaquatu and I look at their pack and I've still got to stick with Manly, but I'm not convinced it'll be, this is a Combank. Where are you going?
I'm just going to go Manly because of, I think Luke Brooks and Tom Trebojevic, and I just take myself back to when, like, Parramatta have come a long way. They really have. But the difference between Mitch playing and not playing, if you look at how they were to start the year, and the very first game he played against, I think it was the West Tigers, wasn't it? Or no, it's completely different team.
And Zach Lomax's carrier out the backfield, you're missing 300
I've got to go
there.
Manly, and with no confidence. It's a toss of a coin, but Manly.
It's a very tough round. We've got the Penrith Panthers against Newcastle Knights are $1.38, $3.30.
Yeah. I looked at the Penrith lineup. I'm going Penrith.
Yeah, I'm going to go Penrith too. I mean, how can you tip Newcastle and even
without Ponga?
Without Ponga, like, poker machine's got more chances.
The link, there's more chance of the link going off. Next one.
All right. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm going up there for this game. We've got the Sydney Roosters. $3.30. I'm really worried about one edge. $3.30 against Cronulla Sharks, $1.33. Both teams obviously missing a couple of key players, but not as much.
Cronulla have been going great and they're not losing anyone, are they?
No.
How can you tip against them? Like,
they should absolutely.
You can't. Like,
who did Sharks play last
night?
So
the thing that scares me is that you've got like Iro Mulatalo up against Marky Mark, who's been awesome in attack, but when he's defended at centre, as you said, he gets stuck in boots. And poor Dom Young's looks like me in the cricket nets. Just, don't know what's coming at me.
Are they defending together?
Together on the one side.
Who's that? Sorry,
Dom Young and Marky Mark.
The alarm bells are ringing.
Oh my God! There's going to be a few tries in that side, I reckon.
That's our multi already.
Yeah, that's me. That's my multi-zero.
Where is this game?
Anytime.
Is this at home at Allianz?
No, it's up at the Central Coast.
In all seriousness, I think the Roosters they've changed their whole mindset. I think they're kind of on a run. They've got confidence now. They're going to be in the game, but the Sharks are just under the radar. And let's remember they beat Melbourne last week. Melbourne didn't play poorly. Melbourne didn't play poorly. It wasn't like they, Melbourne was shit and Cronulla played really well. You just got to go with the class here, and that's alarming. That right edge, you'd just be sending in bombs, and then if you don't bomb, you run it, and you've got, oh man, no offense, but I can't see him forming a formidable combination there defensively in 1 week.
Yeah.
They're both vulnerable. Yeah, they can score tries, but. They might not have the opportunity to score tries if they're getting dominated on that edge. So
and they've also got a lot of young forwards in this.
Yeah, no, I can't tip them.
Yeah, I'm going Sharks. They're full of confidence at the moment. I like what Brayley's doing out of 9.
Yeah,
I like the way they're playing.
This is going to be one good game. This is a game of the round. This is 2 versus 3. You've got the New Zealand Warriors $1.75 at home, 205 Canberra Raiders.
Well, they flogged them in Vegas, didn't they?
This is a great one.
They need
There's not too many players.
And there's not too many players missing.
Hudson Young.
That's a big out for them.
Yeah, it is.
James Fisher-Harris is out, though.
He's out.
Right.
And Barnett.
Isn't he?
And then Barnett. So they are missing a couple of key forwards. But aside from that, it is still a cracking game.
I like what I'm seeing from Capewell in the centres. You've got that defensive steel on that edge. Like he's been really – and their scramble last week defensively was unbelievable. That's what's –
They're going great, the Warriors.
It's a real difference in their team this year is their defence.
Canberra going great too, though. No Hudson Young. I don't. They've still got their core. Team there though.
Barnett and Fisher Harris are 2 big losses.
Horsburgh didn't make Queensland, did he? So they've still got Horsburgh. They've still got Papali'i. They've still got their halves. They've still got Kyle Weeks.
Sticky will be very up for this.
I'm gonna stick with the Warriors.
I'm gonna go Raiders.
You know Raiders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Barnett. No Fisher Harris. That's the only thing that's I'm going Raiders. Even if it's over there, mate, Raiders, they're used to the cold weather too. They're used to the shit conditions.
What is it like playing over there in New Zealand?
We had a good record.
We had a good record.
I used to love playing there. I think I scored more tries there than anywhere else. It was just one of those grounds. It was like a
we had some great games against
horses for courses for us. We actually had a great record, so we enjoyed it, and we had a lot of supporters over there.
Yeah, there's a heap of dog supporters.
So we loved it, but
even when we went to Christchurch, was it Christchurch? Yeah, Christchurch.
We went everywhere. Christchurch. We went to Wellington as well.
Yeah,
Wellington. But for oppositions who I would say most dread it, because you always leave there because they're always so big and strong, like with Ruben Wiki,
Lauatiti.
You get home and you'd be on the plane just like,
you know
I've been on
about
the piss all night too, so we just
okay.
I don't even know if Rennie didn't sleep.
I missed the flight.
I was at home about 10:30.
Yeah, of course you were. I'm going to go Warriors. I'm going to stick with the Wars.
All right. Now this week for our Unibet multi, the BTFU multi.
You're coming to me first.
I'm coming to you first. You're on fire.
Yeah, got it last week. Look, I'm going to go. I said in the preview that I want that the Warriors will win, but I'm going to go anytime try scorer Luke Metcalf. I think he's playing. He's in the wet, quick. He could get around those tired Canberra forwards and through them anyway, and he'll get a try.
Nice. My one, I'm going to go for Herbie Farnworth. Anytime try scorer. My reason for it, he is left centre, and I believe he'll be playing against Blake Taff in the centres. Herbie can score a try at the best of times. He's coming up against a guy who I wouldn't have thought played much in the centres. He's a lot bigger than him. He's faster than him. And if he gets a one-on-one with Taff, it's going to be hard for Blake. So I think Herbie will score this week.
And I'm actually tipping against my Roosters. I'm going with Euro in the centres to score a try. He's going to be against Marky Mark and Dom Young, who I don't think can defend it the best of times.
That's not nice, mate.
Mate, he just seems to get found out. He keeps getting found out, mate. He's a freak at scoring a try, but he keeps getting found out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I think it's about 20 to 1. They're going to send us the price.
20 to 1.
I reckon the Metcalf's probably. Is that giving us a bit more value? I
think he's paying about
$3.
$3.50.
Oh, they're all probably similar. And then, anyway, that's good.
The traders will have a price for us, but it's around that mark.
Okay, beautiful.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.